Hey everyone, welcome to the second part of similarities between Norse mythology and MTG Kaldheim. If you missed the first episode of the series, you can click here on the right, where I have presented already the top 6 similarities. Today I will go a little bit deeper and I will present you the not so well known things this time. Sleipnir. In MTG Kaldheim there is one creature named Cosmos Charger, a horse with 8 legs, which plays a major role in the Norse mythology, alongside with Odin and Loki. There is a really interesting story behind this. So Sleipnir, the 8-legged horse of the god Odin, was the fastest of all horses and able to reach any place in the 9 worlds. Sleipnir not only reached extraordinary speeds, but could also run on land, in the air and on the sea. His name means the one who glides. The origin and birth of Sleipnir is quite unusual, even for Norse mythology, because in reality Sleipnir has 2 fathers, the stallion of one of the giants Svadilfari and the god Loki, but it was Loki who played the role of a surrogate mother. According to Norse mythology, Sleipnir was born when the Aesir ordered the construction of huge fortifications around Asgard to protect the city from the threat of the frost giants. One day, a mysterious builder offered to build impenetrable walls to defend Asgard against his enemies. The builder offered Odin to complete the work in the shortest possible time. In return, he asked for the sun, the moon and the honor of marrying the goddess Freya. After Odin and the other gods were convinced by the god Loki that the builder would never be able to complete the construction in the allotted time, they accepted the deal. They were already looking forward to a mighty wall with nothing in return. But the master builder, with the help of his faithful horse Svadilfari, progressed with great speed. The work progressed so well that the gods began to fear that the city walls would be completed before the promised deadline. This made the gods fear that they would have to sacrifice not only the moon and the sun, but also the goddess Freya. Since Loki had urged the gods to accept the wager, he was tasked by the gods to find a solution to prevent the builder from winning the hand of the beautiful Freya. Loki realized that the stallion Svadilfari was largely responsible for the speed of the transport of the stones. He decided to find a way to prevent Svadilfari from helping his master with the task. With his back against the wall, Loki had to seduce the master's builder's horse, which was the main reason why the master builder was able to move the work forward so quickly. To accomplish this, Loki transformed himself into a seductive mare and lured Svadilfari into the forest. Without his horse, the master builder couldn't complete the work in time. When the deadline passed, he became very angry with the Aesir, who had tricked him. The builder turned out to be a giant. This also explained his strength and the speed with which he had accomplished the work. When he revealed his giant nature, Thor struck him with his hammer Mjolnir, who killed him on the spot. Sometime later, Loki reappeared with a small horse with 8 legs. This little colt, born from the union of Svadilfari and Loki, was the mythical horse Sleipnir. Loki offered the young stallion to Odin. That's how Sleipnir became Odin's horse and accompanied him on all his journeys and battles. Ratatoskr. In Norse mythology there are so many extraordinary and wild animals, figures, or creatures such as dwarves, elves or Odin's 8-legged horse. The one that interests us is a squirrel that lives on the Yggdrasil tree and flies between the eagle on the top of Yggdrasil, the walled tree, and Nidhöggr, the dragon that also lives under the walled tree to deliver news and rumors. The etymology of the word can be analyzed as follows. The name Ratatoskr is composed of 2 segments, Rata and Toskr. Toskr means defense. The prefix Rata, or more precisely Rati, means the traveler. The name can therefore be translated literally as defense of the traveler. His main task is to retrieve the words of the dragon Nidhöggr, who lives in the roots of Yggdrasil, and pass them on the eagle Hresvelg, who lives on the summit, and vice versa. This eagle has the same perception as Odin's ravens and uses its keen eyesight to gain valuable knowledge about the 9 worlds. The words of Nidhöggr are undoubtedly hateful words. Ratatoskr likes to gossip and tell bad stories, and he likes to report what one says about the other, fueling hatred between the dragon and the bird. He enjoys watching the spectacle that he himself has staged between the two. However, it is mischievous and enjoys stirring up trouble between the wise eagle that sits at the top of the tree and the hungry dragon that dwells in the roots. Some stories describe him as having the sinister motive of convincing the two adversaries to use their powers to destroy the tree.
Nidhöggr. Inside the Yggdrasil tree live various animals and monsters. There are deer, a goat, a hawk, a squirrel and an eagle, but also and especially a dragon snake called Nidhöggr. The dragon lives at the foot of the third root of the wall tree in the mist and darkness of Niflheim, and it's without a doubt the most fearsome creature of the Nine Worlds. Nidhöggr is a gigantic dragon hidden in the roots of Yggdrasil, the world tree of Norse mythology. His name means he who strikes with ferocity, which fits him perfectly. Nidhöggr is often described as a huge snake with many tails. Scales cover his entire body and horns sprout from his ugly head. Although it has no hind legs, Nidhöggr has front legs with large, sharp claws. With these, he pulls up the roots of Yggdrasil. In some scripts, he is described with small bat-like wings, under which he carries the corpse of criminals. Does this creature look familiar to you? Probably because it reminds you of the bow of the Viking longships. In fact, most of their ships carried a dragon's head on them to scare, or maybe even scare away their enemies. Were they really inspired by the monsters hiding under the roots of Yggdrasil? This question remains to this day and has no clear answer. Nidhöggr hides in the deep roots of Yggdrasil. Most of the time he slips between the roots of Niflheim and hides in the icy mists of this world. From time to time the dragon slips down to Hell to visit the goddess of death. Many consider her to be his mistress. In the underworld, Nidhöggr tears and gnaws at the roots of the world tree, threatening it with collapse and with the entire universe. To avoid this tragedy, 3 Norns, Urd, Verdandi Skuld, water the roots daily and try to heal them. In the Edda, the scene is described as follows. Yggdrasil is much sicker than it seems, at least more than men think. Snakes gnaw at it from above, its trunk rots, and Nidhöggr sucks its sap from below. To some scholars, Nidhöggr may represent the evil that is always present in everyone, the evil that gnaws at the heart and soul of all. Nidhöggr lies on the banks of the Nadastrand, where the bodies of murderers and oath-breakers are banished. There he eats evil men in a room whose walls are made of serpents, and whose ceiling drips with his poison, with which he burns the flesh of criminals. In the Edda it is described as follows. Its doors face north. Drops of poison fall through the skylights. This hall is woven with serpent spines. The perjurers and murderers will have to cross thick rivers on foot. So, of course, in the Viking Age, the mythological dragon kept everyone from committing the 3 deadly sins that deserved this terrible post-mortem punishment. It may be hard to believe, but Nidhöggr actually plays a role in the balance of the world tree. If he is in the lower world and symbolizes evil, there is a great eagle at the top of Yggdrasil. He symbolizes goodness, wisdom and virtue. Nidhöggr plays also a major role in the Ragnarök. Ragnarök, or the prophetic end of the world in Norse mythology, actually begins when Nidhöggr finally manages to eat the roots of Yggdrasil. The world tree turns yellow and the 9 kingdoms are plunged into dark and icy winter for 3 years. At the end of the winter, the great battle begins. Nidhöggr flies with the criminals from the underworld and leads the giants to attack the gods. In the Edda we read, the ash tree Yggdrasil trembles in all its heights. He groans the old tree. The giant has broken out. According to other writings, Nidhöggr not only initiates Ragnarök but also completes it. The dragon survives the events and carries under its wings all the dead of its long struggle. In the post-Ragnarök world, Nidhöggr continues to preserve the balance of things. He remains the force of evil that counterbalances the force of good in this new era. So those were the 3 creatures which also appear in MTG Kaldheim and were inspired from the Norse mythology. There are still some creatures left which I want to present you, and I will make therefore a 3rd part. If you like this connection between the Norse mythology and the MTG Kaldheim, you can subscribe so you will be informed when the next part will be uploaded. Thank you for watching and see you next time.